champion! We have entered the era of John Lineker, taking out everybody one by one. Now the challenges will come, but you better believe that man's going to be ready for them. Oh, body kick! John Lineker! You are next!
Petr Yan is a problem in the bantamweight division.
I am the unproud king, and everybody knows it.
John Lineker touches you, he hurts you.
I'm coming for you, John Chica Lineker. Don't hide.
Fabrício, você é o próximo.
Ride through the city like Brennan Schaub. I'm on a mission to get it all. Ride through the city like Brennan Schaub. If you ain't thick, please don't get involved.
And now, Brandon Thick Boy Schaub.
What's up, fam? Monday morning, October 17th. It is a glorious morning. Shout to Jesus Christ. What is happening? Yep, I'm dressed like Mr. Rogers today, like a hype beast Mr. Rogers. Won't you be my neighbor? Did Mr. Rogers drink on the show? He sure did. It was just off air. He was hammered 90% of the time. You think he enjoyed his life, chatting about snotty-nosed kids and having them sit on his lap and shit in that beat-down basement? You know he was a sniper in the military, like one of the most decorated snipers.
What?
Dude was a savage. Yeah, dude. You didn't know that either, huh, Mark? Murder. Yeah, beast. Rogers, the host of an internationally acclaimed TV show for children, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, served as a Navy SEAL, Marine Scout sniper during the Vietnam War. Ever heard of it? With a large number of confirmed kills.
You have to state as false. Mr. Rogers never served. Maybe that's like an urban legend then.
Nah, dude. That's real. Oh, you haven't seen the Tom Hanks plays Mr. Rogers? You haven't seen it? Mm-mm. Yeah, it's rated R.
There he is.
Yeah, he's just blowing people's heads off in Vietnam. Yeah, it's the extended version. You'll find it on the dark web. It's called the Dark Rogers. Mm-hmm. Dark Rogers, yeah. See, we'll get started with the show after this one. Mr. Rogers was not a Navy SEAL or Scout Marine sniper. This is a great urban legend, 21st century. The rumors that Mr. Rogers, the host of an internationally acclaimed TV show, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, served as a Navy SEAL, Marine Scout sniper during the Vietnam era with a large number of confirmed kills. We have to state it's false. Mr. Rogers never served in the military. After another rumor, Mr. Rogers always wore long sleeve clothes to conceal tattoos of all his kills. Yeah, dude, he had like a skull. He had like, the hardcore. Dude, this thing's full of shit.
This is NavySeals.com.
The facts. This is NavySeals.com. Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well, maybe someone hacked their page. Firstly, Mr. Rogers was born in 1928. This is at the time the UFC involvement in Vietnam conflict was too old to enlist in the U.S. Navy. Yeah, but because if he was born in 28, Vietnam was what, 72, and then what, 75? Yeah, he's gonna be too old. Conclusion: from the above obvious reasons mentioned above, dumbass, Mr. Rogers could have never served in the military. He was purposely choosing to wear long sleeve clothes because he had KKK tattoos. Wow, interesting. No, it doesn't say that. Keep his clothes. Now he's trying to keep his clothes.
Just to be formal. Yeah.
Surprising, nobody called him Fred, and he wanted to keep it that way. Interesting. His name was Frederick Rogers. Fred Rogers. Wow. The more you know, dude. We didn't have internet when I was a kid. We just didn't have internet. It's like the same urban legend. Somebody in this room did acid this weekend, and the first thing I said was, "Oh my God, were you worried you're going to peel your skin off like an orange?" And comes out that was an urban legend created by the DARE program. Shout out to McGruff, the crime dog. I think he started that. Where there's this urban legend of a guy taking acid, and he thought that he was a big juicy orange and peeled his skin off and died. As you get older, you think about just the logistics of that, and you're like, seems not realistic, but I've never done acid, so I'm going to stay away from it. So that's also an urban legend. But none of that matters. None of that matters because UFC 280 is here, kids. And Your boy's been so busy. I look at the cards, maybe the week before, whatever. I do my homework for the show and stuff like that. And you've had some, fight nights or whatever. And I didn't realize that UFC 280 is the best card of the year. Quietly, I mean, that December 10th card, if John, fights Stipe there, and they added Yuri is up for debate. And there's been some good cards this year, but on paper, from prelims, the main card, the UFC gave us a little treat. Christmas came early, kids. Christmas, forget your Halloween candy. This is your Halloween candy, and it's better than candy corn, kids. UFC 280 is thick. I was gonna say stacked. Switched it. It's thick, dude. This card is thick. It's tasty. It's so tasty. For the first time ever, if the boys can pull it off, this is what it's like to work for me. I started doing my homework on UFC 280 yesterday. I'm looking into everything. I'm like, oh my God, why am I rock hard doing my homework on this card? Your boy is rocked up the entire time because the card is silly, dude. The card is stupid, as the kids say. So I'm looking over it and I'm like, man, I wish we could do a Calabasas fight companion for this. Oh, I'm on the road in Salt Lake City. And usually that's a bummer because, again, none of it's a bummer. Life is great, but best job in the world. But also, when you're on the road, my shows actually line up when the UFC main event starts or main card starts. So if I'm on the road, I got a bunch of tour dates coming up. So I'm going to miss a few fights. But usually I'm on the road when some of these big pay-per-views happen, and it's a nightmare to pull off a fight companion. If I'm not here, it's impossible to do. So I got the old brain working, and I thought, wait a second, what time is this main card start, the pay-per-view start? 11 a.m. Pacific time, which is 12 Salt Lake City time. Well, that's way before I have to go on stage. I bet we could do, for the first time ever, a Salt Lake City fight companion. I just need to get a guest on there because the guys I bring on the road, the comics, they don't know anything about fighting, nor are they interested in it. So that's not going to work. And I thought, who else could I get? And then I remember a gentleman by the name of Franklin Mayer. Franklin and his buddy Harrison, who's going to make a big announcement about the fight they have coming up. But Franklin Mayer Jr. and Harrison said, hey, we want to see you do stand-up, so we're going to fly from, Frank's going to fly from Vegas to come to your show on Saturday. And then I remembered, oh yeah, what if Franklin got there a little early? I fly the boys out. I'll find a studio out there because the Buttery Bros are out there. And why don't we set up an old Salt Lake City fight companion for UFC 280? That would be fun. So the team has to figure that out. And it's Monday, and I told them at 8 a.m. this morning. But Franklin's in, I'm in. All you guys do is get the cameras. All you gotta do is get the streaming, good Wi-Fi, studio. But Buttery Bros are gonna help me out. Shout out to Buttery Bros. They're in Salt Lake City. So get your mind right, kids. On Saturday at noon Mountain Time, which would be 11 a.m. Pacific Time, there will be a live Salt Lake City fight companion with Frank Mayer and myself, maybe some other guests, but all you gotta know is it's my thick ass and Frank Mayer, not skinny by any means. So it's two thick boys. You got Frank Mayer and myself doing a UFC 280 Salt Lake City fight companion, maybe from my hotel room, maybe from a dope ass studio out there that the Buddy Bros are setting up. I don't know. Chin's gonna be there. Casey's gonna be there setting it up. Mark Harley's gonna be there. The whole squad's gonna be there. It's road trip. It's road trip time. Salt Lake City's not far. It's UFC 280. If this card wasn't so goddamn stacked, I would never bend over backwards like this. Now I say bend over, I mean text you guys to get it done. You know what I'm saying? But then I got to book the guests. Still, though, it's a lot of work for everybody. Ruben's making the graphic right now. Get your mind right. Thick Boy, YouTube only, live. We're going live at 11 a.m. Pacific time for UFC 280, baby. And let's just get right into it. Shout out to San Jose. I was there this past weekend. Josh Thompson came out. Had a great lunch meeting. My boy Rich Chow. Just is a grand old time there, and I love San Jose. It's actually one of my favorite cities. The new Green Room Diaries will be dropping. We should maybe get out today or tomorrow. Then we get another one on Thursday. I go pretty hard. Your boy Garcetti Newsome. Just a heads up. Shout out to San Jose, man. One of my favorite freaking clubs. But then, literally my favorite club, first club to ever give me like a full on the road headlining weekend. I'm there this Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Wise Guys, Salt Lake City. Shout out to Keith. Some of my favorite venues of all freaking time. Salt Lake City's always been great to me. Come on out, Salt Lake. I can't wait, man. I'm so crunk, and I'm so excited to do these the Fight Companion on the road. I'm not sure how many big pay-per-views are going to be like this at a noon start time, but if they are, that makes it better for me. But the fights have to be in like Dubai or some shit to pull that off. But let's just get into the UFC 280, man. And where do you start? First of all, for Muhammad and Sean Brady not to be on the main card hurts my feelings, has to hurt both their feelings. Being the main event on the prelims, your boy's been there. I've been there. That means, those tend to get more views than the pay-per-view because people have to pay for it. And they're trying to introduce new blood into the general audience. And Muhammad, who's been around for a hot second, he's been on Food Truck, great guest on Food Truck. He's a savage from Chicago. He's fighting the Philadelphia badass in Sean Brady. And Sean Brady, if the hardcores are super familiar with him, but if you're just a casual tune into this as you're driving to work and you're like, I'm not sure if I'm going to tune in. I'm telling you, you're going to want to tune in. Sean Brady at welterweight, and welterweight is pretty tasty. Sean Brady, I'm telling you guys, is the guy, is the next guy. His back looks like he has a big barrel of just liver all over, just liver, Jeffrey Dahmer style, just liver on it, just all sorts of grooves. It's like the Grand Canyon back there. He's tatted. He has a cheat on the back of his neck. That's what you're dealing with, dude. And he's Philadelphia's finest. And there's something going on in Philadelphia. It just ain't the cheesesteaks because the Philadelphia Eagles are undefeated, which nobody saw coming, even though they signed A.J. Brown, all that stuff. Still, nobody thought Jalen Hurts would be the leading candidate for MVP. So there's something going on, not only in their cheesesteaks, but also in their water because Sean Brady's undefeated at welterweight. He's getting his first big test with Muhammad. And I'm telling you, get on the Sean Brady train now. I love Muhammad. Absolutely love Muhammad. One of my favorite guests. Such a good dude. Has a future in commentating, analyst work. His podcast is super unique, and he's crushing it. Such a good, amazing fighter, too. Amazing fighter. Sean Brady's a tough matchup for him. I'm all up on Sean Brady's tatted nuts. I don't know if they're tatted, but your boy is all up on his tatted nuts. He is a fucking savage, kids. Oops. And you might as well get on the Sean Brady train now. Already the Eagles are hot, so you might as well get on, the Sean Brady train because Eagles are popping, Sean Brady's popping. He's a handsome bastard too. Yeah. He couldn't look any more like a Philadelphian.
And his tats are super clean.
Oh, they're good.
Yeah.
It's such a good fight, man. Yeah, this dude's jiu-jitsu is fucking next level. His grappling. So, here's the thing about Muhammad, too. Khabib's in his corner. Like, he came on Food Truck. I think he said on Food Truck it was at Off Air. I forget. We've done so many of them. But he came on Food Truck and he was telling me that he's trained with Khabib and how intense it is and how scary it is to train with Khabib because when you train with Khabib and you're with his team, it's so serious. He was like, I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. But Khabib is cornering Muhammad in Abu Dhabi. Something to be said about that. So I'm sure he's been working with him because Brady's bread and butter is going to be choking people out. So we're going to see if Muhammad can avoid the takedown. Muhammad's, just a guy. He's a bit of a sleeper. You look at his strength schedule, you look at his resume. He's a monster, dude. There's a reason he's ranked so high. But Sean Brady is my dark horse to be a champion in the next, I'll say 2 years. Because probably under that. Because he beats Muhammad. Muhammad's ranked what, Chin? Because it's Sean Brady's. Listen, he's undefeated. He's been deserving a big fight for a while, and it's not the hang your head about. Muhammad's 5. Mm-hmm. Sean Brady's 8. Yep. Sean Brady beat Wonderboy. He beat Neil Muhammad. Yep. So it's off to the races. So when I say 2 years, you're out of your mind, Brendan. Next year, man, it's dude. He beats Muhammad. They'll probably jump him to 5. You're looking at Gilbert Burns, Hamzat, Colby, Kamaru, Leon Edwards. Sean Brady matches up very well against Hamzat. Good fight against Colby. Colby's gas tank. We haven't seen Sean Brady get pushed like that for 5 rounds. Carl Usman's an interesting one. He beat Leon Edwards. Oof, kid's gonna be a problem. He's gonna be in that top 5 for quite some time. So get familiar with him. That's just the prelims, kids. That's just the prelims. Philadelphia and Chicago's finest, Muhammad, Sean Brady. And then for the main card, which again, I'm doing a Salt Lake City fight campaign with Frank Mayer at 11 a.m. Pacific time on Thick Boy YouTube. But just the that was the prelim main event. So for the main card, you got, any one of these, 2 of these fights could fall out and the card's still fucking stacked. So you got Dariush versus Gamrot, which is a ridiculous fight. Dariush is one of those guys at lightweight where he kind of falls under the same umbrella as Leon Edwards, as like a John Fitch, as those guys who probably deserved a title shot about a fight or 2 ago, but just doesn't check the boxes in regards to the UFC's marketing plans. So by the time a guy like Dariush or by the time a guy like Leon Edwards get a title shot, it's well overdue, and they have to walk through absolute fucking fire in order to get a title shot. For whatever reason, the UFC, it's not that they're denying him a title shot, but if you look at the way they've treated you look at the way they've treated Pierre, who's fighting Izzy, you look at his strength of schedule or experience in order to get a title shot. You look at like Sean O'Malley. Like, yeah, he's had some fights, but you look at his level of difficulty to get to Petr Yan, who's the number 1, guy in the world. They have their marketing and they want certain guys to get their title shots, Dariush falls under that one. It's kind of Leon Edwards, the Tony Ferguson, for whatever reason, they just don't check a certain box. So the UFC's going to be like, dude, good luck. Like, you know what John Fitch had to go through in order to get a title shot? Now, a lot of these guys, when they do get a title shot, you better take advantage of it because it's only happening once. Like, you look at the fire a lot of these guys have to walk through in order to get a title shot who aren't marketable. The UFC's going, all right, you can get your chance. Hopefully you get a bump if you become champ. But if you were to lose, see ya. You're never getting a title shot again. Dariush kind of checks that box. He's his thing is, though, he's exciting. He'll finish people. He'll bite down his mouthpiece, which can be a detriment to his career. But, he'll sit there and trade shots. He's won a few performance nights, few fight of the nights. Savage on the feet, savage on the fucking ground. I know him strictly from jiu-jitsu years and years and years ago. But he's really, taken off and he's doing the damn thing. Gamrot is, they're not doing Dariush any favors here. Gamrot's not a guy who you're going to look good against. Gamrot's a guy where you might win, but you're going to know you were in a fight. Gamrot is a fucking savage. And there's a common theme. I'll get to it when we get to the main event, but there's a theme here. You have the new class coming up, man. You have the new class coming up, and Gamrot's one of those guys. He's the new class. He's gonna be around for a long time. It's like Game of Thrones. The older king's dying. Older king being Charles Oliveira, who's been fighting the UFC since I think he was 20 years old. Started off 8-8, then won 11 in a row, which is fucking insane. So you got Charles Oliveira. You guys got like Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje, Tony Ferguson. You look at the welterweight division. I'm sorry. You look at the lightweight division. Older cats. If you go down, Jim, for me. Sorry. Yeah. So you look at Charles Oliveira. He's been doing it for a hot second. Dustin Poirier, hot second. Justin Gaethje, hot second. Chandler, hot second. Not all in the UFC, but Bellator been fighting for a hot second. Dariush, long in the tooth. Dos Anjos, the longest tooth. And then you look at the other cats coming up, man, and there's this going to be changing of guard, and a lot of their names are tough to pronounce, and it's going to be. I just don't see the belt being defended a ton of times. You're going to have the same 5 characters, these young savages, the new age coming up, but I don't see the belt being, just kind of like a John Jones style or an Izzy style or Kamaru Usman style where they're holding it for a long, long time. The talent's so good. But go back to the card for me, Chin. I'll get to the main because it's tough because the guy who has the style to hold it for a long time is Makhachev, which we'll get to that. So you have Dariush, Gamrot. Take all my money. If just this fight was on the card, I'd pay for a pay-per-view. The hardcores would, the casuals won't. You guys, you'll figure it out. Gamrot, you're going to be all over. Dariush get on the mic, thank Jesus Christ for giving the power to knock a guy unconscious, right? And I enjoy that. I don't frown upon that. So then you got another fight in Petr Yan, Sugar Sean O'Malley. And this is where it gets interesting because, I'm sure people out there will say, does Sugar Sean deserve this? Besides, it doesn't matter. It's happening. So just accept it. It's happening. Deserving is all, it's all your perspective. The amount of eyeballs Sugar Sean brings to the table, the skill set that he provides. Has he walked through the same fighter as Petr Yan? Absolutely not. But, the damn Mark is smashing those keyboards, but Sugar Sean is a guy that is has the capabilities to be your next superstar. He's already superstar, and he hasn't fought in the big fights. He's already, as far as the younger generation goes, he's their guy. He's those young YouTubers and, the kids who are vaping, getting tattoos and watching Euphoria. Sean O'Malley's their fighter, man. They see him not only as a fighter, they see him as a character and a talent outside of fighting. They'll see him taking pictures with Thiccc 6ix9ine and doing his thing and his dyed hair, and he's on Twitch, and he's just kind of this new age where he's making more money outside of the octagon than he is in the octagon, and people love him. He's a personality. But don't let that rainbow smoke confuse you. The dude can fight. Not only can the guy fight, but the UFC being smart here because they do need stars. Even though it's not a pay-per-view driven model anymore, they still need superstars to transcend the sport and get people to pay attention. Does Sean O'Malley check all those boxes? Yeah. Now, the day and age of and Chin's eating a fucking hard-boiled egg and covered in kratom. The days of like the massive stars like a Conor McGregor, a Ronda Rousey, a Brock Lesnar. I don't know if we can get to that level anymore. I don't know. I just don't know because the pay-per-view model is not the same. So I'm not sure. But Sean O'Malley could be the testing pool who might be able to get it done, especially if you were to beat Petr Yan. That would get him into this elite status, this elite club he's been trying to get into. I like the idea of him kind of skipping the line. He hasn't passed a ton of tests to deserve a fight against Petr Yan. His last fight where he poked Pedro Munoz in the eye was an eye poke. I don't know. It's up for debate. But it's not like Sean blew your ears back. You're like, that guy's going to dominate the bantamweight division. Maybe he was winning on the cards. It doesn't matter. He didn't win the fight. It was a no contest. And then the one kind of test he had against Cheeto. Listen, Pedro and Cheeto could just be stylistic matchups that don't work for him. So it's tough for him to get into his groove. But when Sugar gets in his groove, man, he's fun to watch. Yeah, there's not a... you look at his strength of schedule, it's tough. This is college football. He's probably not getting into the top 4 BCS bowl games if the season ended right now. He's on the outside looking in. He's like UCLA. They're good. But you ain't run through that SEC conference. You feel me? You're not playing the Tennessees, the Alabamas, the Ole Miss. You're not doing that, buddy. But UFC has hope that he's going to be the next guy. And does he deserve it? I don't know. That's not on my pay grade. That's up to the UFC. But don't get it twisted. They're not doing Sugar any favors. Petr Yan, probably the best bantamweight in the world. Probably is from top to bottom, strength of schedule, skill set as far as footwork, boxing, striking, wrestling. Probably, I know Aljamain beat him overall though. Petr Yan, you beat Petr Yan. Sugar Sean belongs in that club. He's gonna get in that exclusive club. He's always desired to be in. You got to walk through that fucking Russian. Is Petr Yan Russian, Chen?
I think so. Yeah.
Is he just straight Russian? I think so, right?
From Russia, but Dudinka, Krasnoyarsk.
Yeah, we don't need details, dude. That's Russia, baby. Yeah. It says Russia. Mm-hmm. I appreciate the effort, though, Chen.
No problem.
In order for Sugar Sean, in order to get a title shot, and trust me, if he wins this fight, guaranteed 100%, cash your check now. He's fighting for a title. So, but you're walking through the toughest bantamweight in the world to get that title shot. I've been struggling with this all day. Is about picks for the UFC 280. Really, really struggle with it. I have some, close ties with TJ Dillashaw, is a good buddy of mine. Love Sean O'Malley. He's been on the show multiple times. Love Sean O'Malley. So it's like, man, am I just picking these guys because I want them to win, But when I break it down, there's a few things that favor Sean O'Malley in this fight, and the UFC knows what they're doing. They're not throwing Sean O'Malley to the fucking wolves here. He can win this fight. It's tough to pick him to win the fight, but I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to go on a limb here and think, even though he's an underdog, I think Sean O'Malley, the lights can't get bright enough for him. You can't give him enough attention. He's almost like a Conor McGregor in that aspect, or a Paul brother, where you can't get big enough. You're not going to scare them. They do better the more lights and cameras that are on them. It's just what he was born to do. So I think we see a version of Sugar Sean that we've never seen before. I think he's been training harder than he's ever trained. I think he realizes he knows what's at stake here. Because Petr Yan loses one, he'll go back, into the queue, lose a few spots in the rankings, and he's gonna have to build himself up. And you're gonna build yourself up the hard way. It depends how if you lose by decision, that's a different story. But if you were to get like mollywop, like KO'd, like destroyed, then you realize he's probably never gonna be champ, right? So I don't see that happening. I think Sugar knows what's on the line here, and for his career, he has a kid and a girl, and for his brand, I just feel like Sugar Sean, we're going to see a version. And when you fight a guy like Petr Yan, it brings something out of you that you weren't even aware was inside there. And I think Sugar hasn't been scared at this point. I think Pedro Munoz scared him. I don't think Cheeto scared him. These other guys haven't scared him. I think it's the first time in his life where he has to check every box. He has to get his 8 hours of sleep. He has to eat right. He has to, quit fucking around. Not that he is. Probably not on Twitch as much. I think he realized what's at stake here. Sugar Sean being younger and so talented, it's a little bit of a stretch to pick him, but there's something. I love a guy that does something special. Petr Yan's already, one of the best bantamweights to ever do it. His legacy cemented. There's something about Sugar Sean this fight. Being 3 rounds is an advantage for Sugar Sean. Petr Yan is a slow starter by choice. When Petr Yan comes out, you'll notice in those first rounds, go back, last fucking 8 fights. That first round, he's not very active. He'll accept boos. He don't give a shit. So what he does is he downloads the data. He might throw 7 jabs in the first 3 minutes. You're like, let's get going here, Peter. And then he downloads the data and goes to work and dominates and gets in your grill. Sugar Sean will have a reach advantage here. The 3 rounds definitely favor Sugar Sean. I'm curious what game plan Petr Yan's going to have. Because is he going to go, all right, I can't give away a round like I've done before. I don't have 3 minutes to download Sugar's movement and all that stuff. I'm just going to go in there, get in his face, close distance. He has a reach, not let him get fancy, do his footwork, do all his, chucking and jiving. I'm going to get in his face and just take that, kind of, and I think he does incorporate leg kicks as we've seen. Sean struggles with that. I know Sean hates when people say, I get it, Sean, but if you're watching tape, you're probably like, well, he's not great at it. There's one chink in the armor there that we've seen with Cheeto, stuff like that. It's just what it is. I love you, Sean, but if I'm Petr Yan, my Russian team, we're like, all right, dude, Probably going to throw some leg kicks. So I think you're going to see some leg kicks. You're going to see some grappling by Yan in order to get Sugar Sean down. I think you guys are going to be surprised about Sugar Sean's takedown defense. He's aware that that is a hole that people want to expose, and he's actually pretty fucking tough to take down. He's also really tall and has leverage. So this fight is so intriguing to me. Besides the main event, this is the most intriguing fight on the card, just because you have a guy in Sugar who's young, and there's so much hope and promise. And you have a guy in Petr Yan who's an absolute fucking nightmare. And although Sugar does have some advantages, 3 rounds I think favors Sugar. His reach, his movement favors him. Power definitely goes Petr Yan. Wrestling, overall boxing, and MMA probably Petr Yan. But the outlier of Sean is it's gonna be tough to emulate him. So Peter's probably gonna lose that first round. I think it depends on the game plan. I don't know if they're gonna come rushing in, which is Sean has those knees, the jumping knees, the elbows. It's a dicey situation, but this fight is so intriguing to me, and I am a huge Petr Yan fan. But I'm gonna take Sugar Sean O'Malley on this. I know he's the dog. I think it would be so fascinating if Sugar Sean won. So fascinating. I don't want to talk about what's next for him. Let's just see if he gets through Petr Yan, then we can calibrate how he would do against these other guys. But for the UFC, their worst case scenario would be if Petr Yan destroys Sugar Sean, because you ruin, an up and coming giant superstar, and then if Aljamain Sterling destroys TJ Dillashaw, then you're gonna get what are we in, our trilogy fight of Petr Yan, Aljamain? Be a tough sell. Be a tough sell. I'll tell you what sells. Sugar Sean. Here's how powerful Sugar Sean is. You look at Charles Oliveira, first ballot Hall of Famer. Islam Makhachev, trust me, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Aljamain Sterling, Hall of Famer. TJ Dillashaw, Hall of Famer. Petr Yan, Hall of Famer. Dariush, Gamrot, they're up there. They're up there. If Sugar Sean pulls off a win against Petr Yan, he overshadows all of this. That's how big of a name he is. He's the talk of UFC 280. If he were to win, every headline you see, because nobody, to be honest, and it is what it is, this isn't my doing, nobody attracts more eyeballs on this entire card than Sugar Sean O'Malley. If he were to beat the number 1 bantamweight in the world, every headline you see, I don't care what the fuck happens in any other fight on this card, everything is Sugar Sean O'Malley. His stock goes, his Twitch, his hair, through the roof. You have a superstar in your hands. UFC's praying to God that happens. Because Petr Yan's set. Petr Yan could lose this fight, and he's still gonna be top 3. He's a fucking savage. He's so fucking good at fighting. But he's reached his peak. He has. As far as fame wise. Now I don't think he's like out to pass or anything like that. He's the worst matchup for anybody possible. He can beat anybody on any given night, no matter who the fuck it is. He's a complete savage. But Sugar Sean has the potential for the UFC to put a fucking rocket on his back. And that rocket is Rainbow. And it's going high if he beats Petr Yan. I mean, the merch sales, his Twitch, his podcast, his coach gets more famous. He's doing fucking Molly with Tekashi 6ix9ine in Miami these days, just getting wild, dude. And that's fun. Petr Yan wins, it's like, all right, it's not as fun. I want fun. I like chaos. Sugar Sean brings rainbow chaos. So I'm picking Sugar Sean. Let's take a little break from me getting way too crunk for UFC 280. Salt Lake City, I will see you this Thursday, Friday, Saturday at Wise Guys Comedy Club. That's Salt Lake City. Saturday, there will be a Salt Lake City fight campaign with myself and Frank Mayer for UFC 280 live on Thick Boy YouTube. That starts at noon Mountain Time. Come get you some. Salt Lake City, I will be in your city this weekend. Next weekend, well, really next Thursday, Friday. Thursday, Rooftop, Calgary, Canada. The first show on Thursday is almost sold out, so we added a second show on Friday. That's October 27th, 28th. I'm coming up to Canada, Calgary, November, Texas Heavy, San Antonio, November 3rd through the 5th, Houston, November 10th through the 12th, and then I end November in Milwaukee. Go get your tickets at thickboy.com. This episode of the Schaub Show is brought to you by my friends at DraftKings, because UFC 280 is here, and DraftKings is the official sports betting partner of the UFC. And right now, customers can bet just $5 on UFC 280 and get $200 in free bets if your fighter wins. If you haven't tried DraftKings Sportsbook yet, right now is the time. Watch the Fight Campaign with myself and Frank Mir. Watch it live with us on Thick Boy YouTube at noon Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time. Watch it. Make some bank betting with DraftKings, all right? You want more action? Cool. You can also double your winnings on a same-game parlay, combine multiple bets like which fighter will win, how long will the fight last, and so much more. Charles Oliveira, Makhachev, if you want to make some bank, bet on the dog. Charles Oliveira, bet on him and parlay it, him getting it done and not going to the scorecards. Him getting it done under 5 rounds. That's my bet of the frickin' Saturday fight card. Everyone who wants to boost their winnings, place a UFC 280 same game parlay today. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use promo code SCHAUB, that's SCHAUB show. Throw down $5 on UFC 280 and get $200 in free bets if your fighter wins. That's code SCHAUB this Saturday at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the UFC. Minimum age, eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. DraftKings. You know me, man. I like to ride my bike, part of the Thick Boy Bike Club. And I like to ride my bike, and I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a little bit of music, and I'll post pictures of me riding my bike, and people are like, God, you listen to podcasts or music, and you got wires on your headphones? What are you doing, dude? Was it 2004? Yeah, because the earbuds, the wireless ones, they don't fit this ear. My ear looks like a tortellini. My ear's all jacked up. And then I got sent a pair of Raycon wireless earbuds, and my God, not only do I hear everything, but they don't fall out because they have the optimized gel tips. It's the perfect in-ear fit. You don't have to worry about tiny ears, big ears, cauliflower ears. They got you covered, man. Raycon's everyday earbuds look, feel, and sound better than ever. Also, Raycon gives you 8 hours of playtime, a 32-hour battery life. Raycons, what are these, $3 million? No, dude. You get Raycons, the quality audio at half the price of other premium audio brands. It's no wonder Raycons everyday earbuds have over 50,000 5-star reviews. I can't get enough of them. They got noise isolation, they got the earbud tap function, awareness mode. I'm on my bike, I'm on my own world, and they don't fall on my ears. Raycon, fantastic. Go to buyraycon.com/Schaub, SCHAUB. Today, get 15% off Raycon. All right, that's buy Raycon, buy RAYCON.com/Schaub to score 15% off. Buyraycon.com/Schaub. Co-main event, you got Aljamain Sterling, TJ Dillashaw. This is interesting. I would say these are two, how do I want to say this? I would say these are two of the fighters on the UFC roster who are at their level who get the most hate. Aljamain, for whatever reason, right, that Petr Yan fight where he couldn't continue fighting and just some of the antics he's done. And then TJ Dillashaw,
Obvious.
For the EPO and took 2 years off. But my thing is, if you're going to hate on TJ for that, did he not pay the price? In the middle of his prime, he couldn't work for 2 years. Do we not forgive people? Is there no redemption story? Also, TJ Dillashaw, he owned it, worked his ass off. UFC didn't do him any favors. 2 years off from fighting. And I know a lot of fighters like, that ring rust isn't real. Fuck off, dude. 2 years not competing in the UFC. And it's not like a fun 2 years. 2 years depressed. You got wife. You got fucking kids. You're still training, but you're not fighting. You're not getting paid. There's going to be some depression. There's some low points. 2 years off. His first fight after 2 years off, they give him Corey Sandhagen, the Sandman. Guy's ranked top 3 in the world. After 2 years, the fight before that wasn't even in his goddamn weight class. So really, it's 3 years before he fought in his fucking weight class, dude. It's nuts. Insane. UFC goes, cool, dude. Here's Corey Sandhagen. Jesus Christ. Now, some people go, he didn't beat him. I disagree with you guys. And also, doesn't matter what you think. The judges and the state of Las Vegas Athletic Commission thought he won. And that's all that matters. So he didn't beat Corey. Cool, he did. And now he's fighting for the title. Think to me, at some point the thing what makes America special is redemption stories. None of us are flawless. Everybody fucks up in whatever capacity. Some stuff is unforgivable. Murder, touch a kid. There's some stuff we just can't forgive. PDs, other bad mistakes. A lot of us can relate to some of these bad mistakes fighters or personalities or celebrities have done. Since when do we just write people off for mistakes? Because if you're that person on the top of the mountain going, oh, he should never be able to fight. Hold on, you've never made a mistake? And would you want to be voted off the island forever and not be able to work? That's not how we work. If he learned from his mistake, worked his ass off, came back, now he's fighting for a title shot? You're telling me the UFC couldn't use this as a narrative to show a guy that made an awful mistake? PDs is very prevalent in this business. And I know you guys want to make TJ Dillashaw the poster boy of it. Trust me, the guys that he was fighting were also on some shit too. It's just the nature of the business. Your favorite fighter has probably compromised in some way along the lines. I'm not saying they did EPO. A lot of them have. A lot of guys that you're wearing their bullshit Reebok fight kit, all that stuff, a lot of them have dabbled in PDs. The odds are on my side on that. Your favorite NFL quarterback that you think is God's gift to the world has probably dabbled in PEDs. Hate to ruin your Monday. Your favorite basketball player? Probably in PEDs. Who gives a shit? It's part of the sport. Now, TJ got caught. Boy, did he get caught, right? Paid the price for it. Not only did he get caught, but he gets fucked up by Henry Cejudo. Paid the price for it. Took 2 years off from working his job. Couldn't work for all you listen to this right now. It's not like TJ's Tom Cruise or Will Smith. Like Will Smith fucked up. Jesus Christ. Will Smith fucked up. Will Smith slapped a guy on live TV at the Oscars. Horrible mistake, Will. But guess what? They could vote Will off the island like it's Survivor, and he still has $500 million, probably more, in the bank because he did Bad Boys 9 or where the fuck he's on. It's Will Smith, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He doesn't give a shit. He's fine. TJ Dillashaw, not fine. Your favorite athlete, probably not fine if it's 2 years from not making any income. It's not cool. So not only did TJ get caught in the embarrassment and the, kind of the scarlet letter on his, career, all good. 2 years off, man. He served his time. He came back. The UFC didn't do him any favors. They threw him Corey Sandhagen. Nightmare of a matchup. He beats him. You don't think he beat him? All good. Don't give a shit. The commission, the judges, they beat him. It's very black and white. I thought he beat him. So now he's fighting after 2 years off, after all this ridicule. He's fighting for a fucking bantamweight title of the world. How is that not inspiring to anybody? If you can't take some motivation from that, your glass is half fucking empty. And you're probably leaving YouTube comments and making a profile on Reddit right now. This is an inspiring story. Oh, but stop, dude. Everybody makes mistakes. Move on. He's one of the best bantamweights to ever do it. And he is a complete fucking savage. Nobody wants it more than TJ Dillashaw. Here's the other thing why I should root for TJ Dillashaw. Served his time. Took the black guy, literally. 2 years off, no income. Wife, kids, had another baby. Comes back, fights Corey Sandhagen, who's ranked number 2 or whatever in the world. Beats him, right? He's not young. This is it. TJ will never be here again. Aljamain's still fairly young. Aljamain's going to be fine if he loses this. TJ, this is it. This is your closing call, my man. This is it. He's worked his entire fucking career for this moment, man. It's inspiring to me. That's why you should root for TJ. America's the land of second chances. Your favorite movie. It's about the guy falling on hard times, coming back, getting, Rocky, for God's sakes. Fucking Vince Papale. Heard he was an asshole, but Vince Papale, Invisible, Philadelphia Eagles, they're hot right now. Everybody likes a comeback story. TJ is a comeback story, no matter how you look at it. The caveat with that, though, him being this comeback story, he's only fought twice in 3 years. That's a problem. That worries me. He didn't look fun. He did enough to beat Corey Sandhagen, but it wasn't like to argue for the people like he didn't beat him. I'll give you, it wasn't easy. And it's up for debate. Sure, it's up for debate. But the point is, why I won't even entertain it? Because it doesn't matter. The judges, the Nevada Athletic Commission gave it to TJ Dillashaw. That's it. Move on. And Corey Sandhagen is my fucking guy. I love him, man. No one kid since he was 16. I love him. I thought TJ won that fight. I thought Corey gave him his back too much. It's a horrible look in the judge's eyes. Point is, though, TJ hasn't been that active. And now he's here, and it's a comeback story. Aljamain's going to be fine. It's a very tough matchup for TJ. I do think TJ gets it done. I hope TJ gets it done. This is the last go-around for TJ Dillashaw. At his age, the way he trains, he goes hard, man.
Coming off that injury, crazy injury too.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Coming off the injury. Great point, Chin.
Thank you.
Another reason you should root for the guy. We've all been injured. Even if you're not a professional, you've been injured. Maybe you've had a surgery. You guys know how much that sucks to come back from. The guy coming off an injury, dude. Remember, he beat Corey Sandhagen on one leg. One leg, dude. You know, I talk about all the time like a Mamba mentality, stuff like that. Dude, TJ has that. TJ, dude, it's rare I say this about fighters, but I'm Petr Yan being Russian, I'm sure he's down. There's a few fighters who are straight up willing to die in there. Josh Barnett, famous for saying that. I was more well known to be like throwing the as soon as you see me in trouble, you throwing that fucking towel. I got shit to do. I'm not Russian. I'm not TJ Dillashaw. I'm trying to do stand-up comedy. I don't want to die in here. That would be tragic. This is not my calling card. It's TJ's calling card. It's Petr Yan's calling card. It's Islam Makhachev's calling card. It's Charles Oliveira's calling card. This is what they do. Those guys are willing to die in there. TJ takes it to another level. He's obsessed with it. TJ's a guy, little story about TJ. We had the same coach, and TJ still uses him. His name's Leister Bowling. I've talked about Leister. If you listen to the show since it was Big Brown Breakdown, you've heard Leister Bowling's name mentioned a few times. Leister Bowling he's a Colorado high school wrestling legend. Undefeated. Then he went to, I forget the name of the school, but he was on the same wrestling team with Ben Henderson. Ben was younger than him. He's on, whatever, in high school, 300-0, whatever the fuck. His son's a beast, right? And he comes from a family of wrestlers. His dad was a wrestler. His kids are wrestlers. His uncles are wrestlers. All they fucking know is wrestling. He looks like a fucking a spark plug with two eyes. He looks like a fucking fire hydrant that somebody put white face on and a few warts, and he is filled with piss and vinegar. There we are. Yeah. He's filled with piss and vinegar, and he's the toughest son of a bitch you know. If you're in trouble, you want Leister Bowling in your fucking foxhole. I hate him wearing that hat. And I also
just looking at
that was the night that I knocked out Chris Tuchscherer and Shane fought Brock Lesnar. Shane lost, that's why he's so depressed there. I'm pretty crunk because I won I won in minute 6. And on the elevator going up after the knockout, I'm on the elevator with Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
Wow.
And yeah, he's telling me he's a fan and all this shit.
Nice.
That was pretty cool. I looked down and he had platform heels on. Whatever. So back to Leister Bowling. So he was a coach at, he would help the University of Northern Colorado team out. Shane had a relationship with him because Shane lived in Greeley. So I was allowed to go to the University of Northern Colorado and do the wrestling program. So I was wrestling with like the heavyweights and the light and the middleweight. So that was my introduction to wrestling. So I'm there. That's right before. Yep. There's Shano. So once me and Shane started doing that, then we started at High Altitude, we started at Grudge. Then all the Grudge guys start coming up and High Altitude guys. So you got Rashad Evans in there. And there's a great picture of Rashad Evans' son and Leister Bowling's son who both wrestle. And they're like 4. And they're just like dead serious getting after it in front of each other. It's one of my favorite pictures. But once people realized who Leister Bowling was and his knowledge on wrestling, then GSP started to use Leister Bowling. And then you got fucking the who's who using Leister Bowling. They're flying him out to Greg Jackson's. And, he's this guy. And he's a guy who I always appreciate. He didn't want fame. He didn't want to be the pictures. He just wanted to do the work. He helps Neil Magny out. He's the one that got Justin Gaethje into MMA. Justin Gaethje was a All-American wrestler at University of Northern Colorado. And he wanted to get into MMA. Leister introduced him to Trevor. The rest is history. Justin Gaethje's a multiple-time world champion, one of the biggest names in the UFC. So, yeah, Nate Marquardt's using him. He's working with fucking everybody is the point. So Leister Bowling takes on TJ Dillashaw. They click because they're both insane. They're both out of their minds. All they give a fuck is about like breaking people. It's literally all they want to do is break people. It's insane. So TJ and Leister Bowling have the same mindset that Kobe, break you at all costs, win at all costs mentality. They become like peanut butter and jelly. TJ's so drawn to Leister Bowling and the way he works, and Leister Bowling opens up his own college like wrestling camp for his kids and has a whole massive kids camp, builds it on his like fucking ranch. TJ Dillashaw getting ready for the Corey Sandhagen fight. End this fight. TJ has money, right? TJ won the fight. He has some sponsors. He's a smart businessman now. He has like a juice truck that we've used on the show. We had TJ on. He's going to come back after this fight and probably do the juice truck, which I'm starving all day, but I pretend it's cool. But TJ's such a fucking sociopath when it comes to fighting. He leaves his wife and kids and he sleeps in the wrestling room. It's not a nice wrestling room. It's okay. It's a wrestling room. We've all been there. There's staff everywhere. He sleeps on a sleeping bag in the bunk beds during camp to get his mindset uncomfortable to get ready for these fights. That's what you're dealing with. That's a comeback story. That guy is willing to do whatever it takes to win this fight. I don't know if Aljamain Sterling is willing to do that. Now you can turn TJ's lights off. A knee, you get his back. Aljamain's fantastic on the back. He's explosive. If you don't land something like that, I'm telling you, TJ is willing to go places you're not willing to go. The amount of I don't want to say hate or animosity. I don't know what you would call it. The amount of drive that TJ Dillashaw has, very few athletes have in all sports. Kobe had it. Jordan had it. They're all assholes. TJ's not going to win any nice guy awards. With his friends, he is. With his family, he's the fucking best. Training partner, stuff like that, he's going to be tough, man. Because he has one goal only, and that's to be the very, very fucking best. And he'll do whatever it takes to be the best. Literally whatever. He's willing to go places. I'd be willing to bet 2 other guys on the card are willing to go. And their name's Islam and Petr Yan, and they're not American. TJ has their mindset plus 10. He's a savage. This is his time, and here's the thing. This is why I feel so much pressure about this. It's his last time. He's a comeback story. If you don't view TJ Dillashaw as a comeback story, you're a hater. You ain't shit. TJ's earned this. TJ's walked through the fire. TJ's taken all the criticism. He owns all that. He paid his dues. Move on. Even Aljamain, he's still using stuff. Come on, dude. You got to do better than that. Now, Aljamain, you're going to talk that shit. Now you got to fight the guy. And good luck. And I like Aljamain as a person. Aljamain's fantastic. He's been on Food Truck. He's fantastic. Aljamain is a good human, a fantastic fucking fighter. He's your fucking world champion. I'm taking TJ Dillashaw. Taking TJ via decision. Now we're just getting to the main event. That's how good this fucking card is. That's a long round of TJ. Hopefully I sold some of you on rooting for TJ. I know people want to hate on TJ and Aljamain. You're looking at your perspectives completely off. You're just off, man. TJ paid his dues, move the fuck on. The main event, Charles Oliveira, Islam Makhachev. I've struggled with this for about 4 weeks on today's show, picking a fight for this. Part of me went, maybe I'm not going to pick this time. You can't do that, dude. You're like, oh, what are you fucking... Oh, now you're a real journalist? Nope. So I got to pick. But I also don't want to piss anybody off. But also I have no ties to Charles or Islam at all, so I can pick this one. But I go back and forth. Part of the problem is the person I know that knows Islam Makhachev the most is Josh Thompson. I was just in San Jose. Josh comes to the show. He's waiting in line in the meet and greet. I'm like, you don't have to wait. Get up here, dude. And he goes, oh, what do you... hold on. Like, we got to get this because there's a line real quick. How does Islam beat Charles? And Josh, to be fair, had a few drinks, but still knows his shit. Remember, he's the captain of AK. He's been with Islam since he first came in. And he goes, how's Charles beat him? I go, where do I start, Josh? He's more dangerous in every capacity of mixed martial arts. You tell me where Islam's better. Wrestling, I'll give you that. Outside wrestling, submissions off the back, submissions on the top, and transitions, Charles, and it's noted, the best ever do it. Most submission bonuses of all time. Savage. He's great off his back, great on top, transitions. Even when the guys take him down, he's going to get your neck. You have a fucking million reasons to worry about that guy if you're trying to take him down. Check, Charles Oliveira. On the feet, Charles Oliveira. More dangerous, better striking. Strength of schedule. Look what Charles Oliveira's done in the last 18 fucking months, dude. Look at the people he's... What? Excuse me? This dude... Look at this. This dude, in his last... Let's just do last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go over his last 6. This is where it gets fun for us. This is Charles Oliveira's last 6 fights. You tell me if any of these names ring a bell. Kevin Lee. And this is 2020 Kevin Lee. Savage. He beat him. Guillotine choke. Submission. Performance of the night. He missed weight. All good performance of the night. Next fight was against Tony Ferguson. December 2020. Then he fought Michael Chandler. Ever heard of him? Michael Chandler. He TKOs him in the second round. Survived an onslaught. First round could have been 10-8. That was a prime Michael Chandler. Chandler made some mistakes in that, but still, Charles Oliveira fucking TKO knocks out Michael Chandler. Then he fights Dustin Poirier. Fought Dustin Poirier. Beat him. Rear naked choke. I don't say it was an easy fight, but he beat him. Then he gave him Justin Gaethje, which I thought was a bad matchup for him. He starts Justin Gaethje. Gets his back, chokes him out. So he's choked out Kevin Lee, Dustin Poirier, black belt, and Justin Gaethje. Out of those last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those 5, 3 out of those 5 are ranked in the top 3 at the time. He didn't beat him by decision. He's finishing them. That's Charles Oliveira, the ultimate finisher. So when you look at strength of schedule, and that's why I go back and forth on it, it's like, all right, Charles Oliveira is more dangerous in every fucking capacity of mixed martial arts. But to argue for Islam Makhachev, Islam is a guy who we've been told how good he is. Javier Mendez, who nothing but the utmost respect for in the world, is a world-class coach. He says he's the best lightweight ever. Okay, there's some hype there. Khabib tells us he's the next champ. Khabib knows a thing or two about fighting. Khabib's, arguably the greatest lightweight to ever do it. That's his guy. They came up together. They trained together. Okay, but that's also hype there, right? Josh Thompson, dude, never seen this guy lose a round in training. You see what he does to this guy. Tells me all the war stories, which I love. He gets me rock hard. Tells me all this crazy shit about Islam Makhachev, how much of a badass he is. Cool, got it. I haven't seen any of this. You guys tell me. I haven't seen any of it. None of it. None of it. I haven't seen any of it. His best win, Drew Dober's a good win. Drew Dober's dangerous, but good matchup for him. Thiago Moses, okay. Dan Hooker, tough character. Tough guy, bad match for Dan Hooker. Bobby Green, short notice. All right. So his best win is probably over... Shit. Dan Hooker? Mm-hmm. That's a good win. So strength of schedule. So if you believe the hype, you think Makhachev's going to win this fight. Vegas believes the hype. I will argue for Makhachev here for you guys if you think about putting money on this fight. The one knock on Charles Oliveira, even though he is, he's the champion. He missed weight, but we all know he's the champion. Even though he's the champion, the knock on Charles Oliveira is he does get hit. He does take punishment. You look at all those fights that I mentioned, the Gaethje, the Dustin Poirier, the Chandler fight. Besides Tony Ferguson, he was in a ton of trouble. But you look at his career, especially early on, the Paul Felder was vicious. He takes some hits, man. He's a guy who takes chances and will get hit. So that's worrisome because remember, he's been fighting since he was 20 years old. You know, his Max Holloway fight, the Cub Swanson fight he got knocked out in, Don Cerrone TKO'd him. So early in his career, I don't care too much about that, but my point is he's not young. Father Time is going to come fairly soon. He's on the last leg of his career. It's been a fucking phenomenal career. To win 11 is insane, especially at this level. It's going to come. I don't know if it comes this Saturday afternoon. We're doing a Salt Lake Fight Companion at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. I don't know if it's going to come then. It's going to come. But the point is Charles Oliveira, and one of the reasons we love him, and one of the reasons he gets so many finishes is because he takes chances. Islam Makhachev, after getting KO'd in the UFC a hot second ago, takes no chances. He got knocked out 7 years ago. Islam Makhachev takes 0 chances, 0 risk. He does whatever it takes to win the fight. Even if it's boring, he's going to win that fight. Now, if you give up some sort of thing, if you're not that versed on the ground, he's going to submit you. But he's not a Khabib style where he's going to break the fuck out of you, make it miserable where you want out and you're going to quit. He's not there yet. The issue with that is if you're a Charles Oliveira fan, and this is why I struggle with picking who's going to win this fight, is because Makhachev doesn't really give anybody openings to take advantage and finish the fight anymore. He's going to go in and do exactly what he needs to do to win the fight. All he cares about is being champ. Well, that's laying on Charles Oliveira for 5 rounds and for 25 minutes. He does not care. Just wants to be champ. That's tough, man. When a guy has that skill set and he knows he's dealing with a guy who's a complete savage and can put you out in any point of the fight, you're not going to see a lot of risks taken by Makhachev. He's the safe route. He's the safe bet. But there's something about Charles Oliveira that throws those Hail Marys at any given time. And I do think Makhachev's going to get him down. Guarantee he gets him down. Would bet my last fucking dollar he gets him down. But when you take Charles Oliveira down, you got to worry about a significant amount of other things that you don't with other guys. Your neck, even if you think it's in the right place, it's not in the right place. In the transition, if you don't get him and control him, those transitions, he's getting the shit that you're not preparing for. He's getting to that neck. He's getting the darces and the arm triangles and shit you haven't seen yet. He's the best in the world at it. So Islam knows this, so it's just how much is Islam willing to go through to make it entertaining. I don't think he gives a shit about entertaining you guys, which is why he's not. We all want him. Since Khabib retired, this is his best friend, though, and Khabib says he's the next big thing. I get that. He's not Khabib. Khabib's a special dude. Khabib also was a beast on the mic. Islam hates interviews. Islam hates the bright lights. The lights will never be brighter, ever, in his career than come Saturday night in Abu Dhabi. Those lights are bright as fuck when you're fighting for the lightweight title of the world and you're facing Charles Oliveira, who's one of the best to ever do it. So for Islam, there's some pressure because your coach said you're the best of all time. And you sure as fuck don't have the resume to prove it. Khabib says you're the best of all time. Josh Thompson says you're the best of all time. This is MMA royalty at its highest, crowning you champ before you even champ. Ton of pressure on him. The guy hasn't had this type of pressure. I know, and I won't say who it is, told me the only thing Islam needs to work on is showing up when the lights are brightest. He's not used to that yet. We haven't seen his full potential because he hasn't fought in those big moment fights. So how's he going to fight against a guy in Charles Oliveira? Because if you're even take one second, you take your eye off the prize for 1 second, Charles Oliveira's going to get your neck or he's going to throw an elbow and that fight's over. Can Islam do that for 25 minutes? Vegas thinks he can. Khabib thinks he can. His coach thinks he can. Most of the media thinks he can. I don't think so. 25 minutes in there with Charles Oliveira, I feel pretty confident saying he's the most dangerous guy inside that octagon of all time. The bonuses prove that as well, would back that up. I think for 25 minutes, you're going to fight safe. It's going to be a tough night in the office for you. I think even if you get Charles Oliveira down, he's going to be so dangerous off his back, Islam's not going to want to be down there, and then they're going to be forced to be on their feet, and that's where Charles Oliveira excels and has more tools in his chamber to get this fight out of there. Now, if this fight is a decision, hands down, just walk away from the TV. Islam won. If this goes to the judges, Charles ain't beating him via decision. Charles can get taken down multiple fucking times. I guarantee you. Unless he gets starched in the first few minutes. I don't see that happening. But I've second guessed Charles Oliveira for too long. Even though he's my dark horse, you remember this, Jin? For years I've said Charles Oliveira is the dark horse. He's gonna be a champion. He can do it all if he has the right mindset. My only caveat with Charles Oliveira for the longest time, and boy was I wrong. He proved me wrong. I said he has quit in him. Whenever I see a guy quit, there's no way to come back from that. He proved me wrong. I don't know what if you saw a mental coach, one of the just confidence from knocking these great fighters out. The quit is not in him anymore. He would have quit against Michael Chandler. He would have quit against some of these other guys. That's gone. Now you just have this savage who has all the confidence in the world. And he's the most dangerous guy from the floor to the feet to ever compete in the octagon. The bonuses back that statement up. And you're locked in there for 25 minutes. It's tough for me to pick against Charles Oliveira. It's tough. I don't know how long he's going to be champ. Here's the thing. With Charles' style and with Father Time coming, maybe another year, it's going to be tough. Islam does have the style, even though this younger, in the tide's turning. I started this whole rant before I started the pod, or I'm sorry, in the beginning of the pod, of how the tide's turning. These legends in the lightweight division, across the board in the UFC, these legends are slowly going out to pasture, and this new wave of fucking monsters is coming. And at lightweight, it is heavy. It is packed with names that are hard to pronounce. Gamrot is a fucking savage, dude. Gamrot, on any given day, could beat Charles Oliveira Islam. He's a savage. Islam does have the style where he could hold on to the belt for quite some time if he plays it safe. You're not going to win any fans over, but he does have that style and the ability to hold on to the belt for 2 or 3 fights. But I sure as fuck don't see it with these younger guys coming up and the skill set they have, him holding it for like a Kamaru Usman style reign or a Izzy style reign or a John Jones reign. That's not happening at lightweight. I guarantee it's not happening. This younger generation are fucking savages. He has the style to do that, but there's no way it's going to happen. So overall, my picks for UFC 280 will be Sean Brady. Muhammad, I fucking love you. Sean Brady, Philly's finest. It's tough to pick against him and the Eagles right now. So I'm just going based off the Eagles doing their damn thing, and Sean Brady's such a savage. He's been my underdog, dark horse in the welterweight division. He's going to be fight for a title next year. I guarantee you. I take Sean Brady via submission. I will take, I hate to do this to Dariush, I'll take Gamrot. I'll take Gamrot via decision. I'll take Sugar Sean O'Malley. I'll take TJ Dillashaw and Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira by finish. I don't know what round. I have no idea when he pulls it off. I think he's going to be down on the scorecards and he's going to pull it off. He's going to have to walk through some fucking tough fire to pull this off. But 25 minutes, most dangerous guy to ever do it. Knees, elbows, submissions, punches, kicks. I'll take my chance with Charles Oliveira. I think Charles Oliveira gets it done via decision. That'd be my bet if I was going to parlay it. Charles wins via, finish. If it goes to judges, it's Islam by landslide. Like I said, Charles finish, under 5 rounds. TJ Dillashaw, I'll probably say via finish, 5 rounds. I think TJ finished Aljamain. Sugar Sean, best bet would be decision. I could see him get a finish with a knee or something because he does have the reach. And Petr Yan, I think, is going to incorporate wrestling, and then Gamrot via decision. Sean Brady via submission. Those are my picks for UFC 280. That was fucking tough to pick. Tough card. Great card. Such a good card. Like I told you guys earlier, we're doing I want to call it Calabasas Fight Command, but it's nowhere near Calabasas. We should call it the Mormon Companion. It's the Salt Lake City Fight Companion, and that will be with me and Frank Mayer plus some other guests. That is live, 11 a.m. Mountain Time. That will be 12 Pacific Time, live on Thick Boy YouTube. Come watch this amazing card with me. It's going to be a grand old time. Me and Frank are some chatty Cathys.
11 Pacific, right?
11 Pacific. Oh, yeah, my bad. 11 a.m. Pacific time. That would be 12 Mountain time.
Okay.
Which is Mormon time. Enjoy the fights, man. I've been this excited for a fight top to bottom in a hot fucking second.
Stacked.
I could have done a 4-hour podcast breaking down the prelims. I'm told not to do that anymore. There's some phenomenal fights and so many names we can't pronounce on here. And boy, does Bruce Buffer have his work cut out for him. You read some of those names like, Jesus Christ, Bruce. Good luck, buddy. Enjoy that Magomed Mustafiv versus Yamato Nishikawa. Not bad. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
That Krylov Ozdemir, take my fucking money. Mahmoud and Baralo, fantastic fight. It's just, there's so many good fights on here. So many good fights. Let's do some current events, Jen.
We also have that one on Amazon Prime Video 3, Lineker.
Fight World is popping.
Badass John Lineker, knockout artist.
Yes. You got a great fight, and that's on Friday, I believe.
That's Saturday.
Is it Saturday?
Yeah, I believe so.
Friday in Singapore.
Here we go.
Right.
It says
Or it's actually in...
2 different ones.
So you have Friday... Well, it's Friday, I think... Well...
8 p.m. On the 21st is Friday, 8 p.m. EDT. And October 22nd, which is Saturday, 8 a.m. SGT. So,
yeah, so that means if it's 8 a.m. SGT, that means it's prime time for us if it's on Amazon Prime. Prime time for us being in North America, right?
Gotcha.
It's a great card, though. You got John Lineker, who's just doing work, defending his belt against Fabricio Andrade. Andrade is he's also a knockout artist, so we'll see. We'll see if he can deliver, man. But his star's a booming. I'm most excited for the guy who just won ADCC. He just won the submission grappling world title. And it's, again, one championship setting the standard, man. You have a straight-up submission grappling world title on a big-ass event on Amazon Prime. You got your boy Cade, and he's competing for the second time ever on one championship for the world title. And you would know him because he just destroyed the Abu Dhabi Combat Championships ADCC. So go get you some. And they also got the 20-year-old. She's such a badass. California, you guys would know her. Leah Bivens. She's been in the headlines here because she won the Colorado State wrestling.
California State.
Yeah, California State Wrestling Championship. One championship's banking on this youngster at 20 to be the next American star. So there's a lot of fun storylines there. You got that jiu-jitsu phenom in Cade coming off his championship on ADCC. You also got John Lineker, who went over to one championship, left the UFC, and is just on fire.
He's got a title
savage. And that's one championship's third card on Amazon Prime. And go get you some, man. It's going to be a fun one. Stacked this week, man.
Oh, yeah.
You got that and UFC 280. Take all my money. Thanks, Amazon. Thanks, One Championship.
So over the weekend, Deontay Wilder KO'd his opponent. His name is Helenius, and I guess they were sparring partners before. I don't know if you saw his post-fight press conference, but I
saw just a picture of him like crying. But what's weird is it wasn't like a huge shot.
I thought it was a left, but then when I slow it down, it's a
left,
right.
Almost like this. Then it's just like a.
Yep.
But a certain angle looks pretty flush.
Yeah. But this it was kind of hard to tell. You'll see.
This is the first round too, right? Boom!
I mean, out cold. Yeah, out cold. And then Deontay, during the press conference, he was. Well, let me just play this clip for you because I think it's pretty powerful.
But my heart goes out to him, and I hope he's doing okay. He can be able to go back to his family because this is a tough business that we're in.
The toughest.
This is why I tell people you got to respect all fighters. People always go about worrying about records and all this, he lost or he's a bum and all that. Well, you get your bum ass in there then. And let's see who's the bum, really. Because you don't play this. You can't play this. So we demand respect at all times. Every fighter that step in the ring, I don't care what the record is. I don't care who they are or where they come from. It demands respect because if not, then you see things like that happen. And then that's a good knock. Yeah, it's a great knockout. It's devastating, making history and stuff like that. But how much that man gonna suffer? He may be all right now, a little bit, but what about the next day? What about
5 years?
2 weeks from now? What about a month from now? Maybe years from now? And we seeing what happened. Look at Cologne.
Talking
Look how
about
he
Pritchard
got hit.
Cologne.
Richard Cologne. There's Pritchard Cologne.
Yep.
Correct. This man ain't have no kids. They don't understand, man. Y'all don't fucking understand what we go through, man. And I don't even know him like that. But I always be an advocate for us because this man would never know what it feel like to be somebody's father. And that's some of the precious thing in the world, to be somebody's father. But he'll never be nobody's father, man. This man will never have a natural childhood ability of living again because he got in the ring to support his family. But now, his family got to take care of him for the rest of his life. He probably would have been the breadwinner of his family. And now they seeking for help and shit like that. I can say so much about it.
Wish his buddy would get off of him, but wish his buddy would back up a little bit.
So I had looked into that Pritchard Cologne guy. He was undefeated killer, and then his last fight, he got brain damage, and he's in a vegetative state right
One
now.
of the most exciting prospects in boxing, the Puerto Rican Pritchard Cologne lost for the first time in his professional career. However, the blows he received in the fight caused him brain damage and left him in a vegetative state. Jesus Christ!
Like, this was his record, just that one fight.
Wow. Yeah,
so that's what Deontay was referencing.
No, I mean Deontay's 100% right. Deontay's such a good person. Too. He's such a good guy. Yeah, such a good guy. Yeah. Such a sweet guy. Now, for him to kind of bring this back full circle and not make it so sad, for Deontay Wilder, he needed this win. So now you're talking about like a Ruiz fight, which would be fun. I know he's calling for Anthony Joshua, which obviously Joshua Fury's not fighting, which is beyond me why that's not fucking happening. So Wilder Joshua would be a great fucking fight. And then also there's talk too, Wilder Francis Ngannou. And I think for Francis, I was talking with his agent yesterday, Markel, who I absolutely adore. Markel, I was like, man, Francis Deontay, now he's gonna be an underdog whether it's Fury or Deontay Wilder, but he'd be less of an underdog against Wilder. Fury has too much skill to just get clipped by that right hand early on. It'd be a very tough fight for Francis. Now, if Francis lands, who knows what would happen. But with Wilder, he'll play that game a little bit. Wilder has a big right hand. Francis has a big right hand. Sign me up.
Yeah.
It's a much better, still probably a plus 500 underdog at least. Fury's probably a plus 2,000, I like the Deontay Wilder fight for him. Deontay Wilder was like, if the money makes sense, the fight makes sense. I was like, all right, let's do it, my man.
That'd be fun.
It's all going to be predicated on the UFC coming to agreements with Francis because Francis, I think, wants to box, like do a Wilder fight and then fight John. And the UFC saying, no. We're going to resign you, fight John, and then maybe we'll be open to boxing. Francis go, no. I want to box and then fight. So that's the holdup. We'll see
what happens, yeah. And that's, by the way, it's official. Well, not official, but I think Ariel Helwani posted after you mentioned it that the whole John Jones thing with the Ngannou, potentially December 10th or Stipe. Ariel posted it like 4 days after you mentioned it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure I said the news and then those guys do what journalists do and call and cover their bases. I don't. I get from the horse's mouth and then I don't double check with anybody.
And sometimes it hits.
Yep.
All right, so UFC, obviously Mark Zuckerberg's been around the UFC for a little while now, but they've officially partnered up with them for something called Meta Live and on-demand events where they're doing virtual reality things for Fight Pass. And they did it for the first time at LFA that just happened. And this is what it looks like. This is basically you walking through the arena.
Touch gloves, do so now.
Go to your corners and come back ready. Huge co-heavyweight action. Didn't even have to.
Now, the way Metaverse works, that's a real fight, but they
It's a real
just take
fight.
you there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, maybe there's a bunch of cameras. And
That's
you could
pretty
just,
badass, especially if it was like
That
a
is super
big,
cool.
big fight. It's pretty cool. We knew something was going to come between those two.
Of course, yeah. And some quick bout announcements. Alexander Gustafsson and Ovin St. Preux. They'll be
Interesting.
fighting UFC 282.
That's at light heavyweight?
Yeah,
heavyweight.
it has to be. Let me double check. I think it's light heavyweight, though.
Because they've both dabbled in heavyweight.
Yeah.
Light heavyweight. Cool. That's a good fight.
And also, Jan Blachowicz versus Magomed Ankalaev.
Oof. Damn, December 10th is
Yeah.
tasty. Magomed, oh, man, that's a tough fight for Jan.
Yep. Yeah.
Fuck, that
That's a great
Magomed
fight,
is
though.
coming, dude.
Your boy Tai Tuivasa versus Sergey Pavlovich. That's a fight night in Orlando, December 3rd. And this is Pavlovich's record right now.
Pavlovich coming off that win over the Black
Derek
Beast.
Lewis, yeah. And then Tai just lost to Searle.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yuri Prohashka and Glover Teixeira 2. That's official now for 282 as well.
What's interesting about that is I know they're waiting to see if Yuri's going to be the main event. If John said no, they're going to make Yuri the main event. If John was going to push it towards, January, February and wait for Francis, then Yuri would be the main event. But it still sounds like John's on December 10th against Stipe.
Damn, that's going to be sick.
Yeah, main event, co-main event.
This is another, it's not official, but Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis has been going back and forth on social media, and it looks like they might have a fight in December. And this is the last thing I think this is the last thing he posted.
They both said done, and
deal,
it was
yeah.
done deal. Man, it's a tough fight for Ryan Garcia.
I know. And Ryan's calling for it, though.
I know.
Yeah.
Maybe they see something. Ryan's a little beast, dude. Mm-hmm. That's a tough fight.
Yeah.
I love that fight, though.
Oh, it's going to be so exciting.
Fuck yeah. Great fight.
And just a quick one on Aspen Ladd. She's going to be fighting Julia Budd.
That's a
in the
solid
PFL.
fight.
Yep.
I'd prefer to get a straight title shot, but whatever.
We already talked about this a little bit, but the whole slap fighting thing, apparently Dana White and Lorenzo Fertitta are teaming up again to have that slap fighting thing happen in Nevada. And it's like in real talks now with the commission and everything.
And slapping, that's just when they just stand there and slap each other, right?
And then I'm sure you met Craig Pelagian. He's the guy that created Tough with them.
Oh, yeah.
He's
I
like
know
that
Craig.
producer
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, he's the one who gave me my shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're teaming up with
Spike.
him again, too. So they might be doing like a reality show. Who knows?
Slapping, that's weird.
This was weird. Hasbulla. You guys all know Hasbulla.
Yeah, the little
He posted that he was officially signed to the UFC to fight. Right? Which obviously no one's going to really believe, but see this right here? And then he also is going to have his fight kit out for people to purchase. I think the fight kit might actually do well.
I was going to say, I'd never buy a fight kit, but I'd buy that one. It's
It's just funny,
hilarious. Yeah, he's never going to fight. The UFC marketing team, with Hasbulla, obviously with his massive following, his connection to Khabib, and then, the Nelk boys, stuff like that. They're just doing anything to get this younger generation.
Yeah. I mean, if it works, it works,
Working.
dude. Yeah.
I get it. No hate there.
Oscar De La Hoya is picking Jake Paul to KO Anderson Silva.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You say why? That's a good fight. Oscar says, I'm going to go with Jake Paul. Yeah, I'm going to go with Jake Paul just because he seems like he's getting to the rhythm of things. He doesn't have too many fights. He loves boxing, hard worker. A lot of power. If he connects with Silva, he's going to knock him out. If he touches Silva, he's going down. Everybody's going based on what Silva did to Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and Tito Ortiz. Come on. I mean, Chavez Jr. wasn't even 20% himself. Okay, condition-wise, physically, just wasn't him. All right.
Yeah. So he believes Jake Paul will likely get the KO. And so the pay-per-view prices for that fight came in. Can you guess how much it is?
Jake doesn't want to ostracize his fan base. I'll say $49.99.
Close enough, $59.99.
Yeah. Jake's smart with that.
And, okay, this is just... I'll just play this for you. This is Bryce Mitchell talking about jiu-jitsu practitioners in MMA.
So usually I get on here and I complain about the government, but today I'm going to complain about something even better, something that I know what I'm talking about. I'm going to complain about jiu-jitsu. And yeah, I love jiu-jitsu. I use it every time I'm in a fight, okay? But the problem with the sport of jiu-jitsu today is all y'all fight like a bunch of sissies. All y'all want to do is pull guard and go for leg locks. And I get it. That's great. You get your little gold medal. That's cool. You get your gold medal. You get to stand on the podium. Woo! Yeah, but when you get in a fight at Walmart and you go for a leg lock, you get stomped in the face and you get your teeth knocked out, okay? You get kicked right in the nuts. Your nuts are wide open, okay? Or the bad dude gets away, runs away. Okay, so get up off your ass and fight. And I think the best jiu-jitsu guy I've ever seen, well, Andrew Wiltsey's a good one because he knows how to take people down. Andrew Wiltsey, Nicky Rod, these are guys that fight like men, okay? They get up, they get a hold of you, they throw you to the ground, and then proceed to do their jiu-jitsu. All you other punks out there that are starting a match on your butt and scooting at the guy, y'all are sissies, and every one of y'all, you need to stop fighting like chickens, okay? Bunch of chickens out there. Bunch of chicken shit. Get up off your ass and fight like a man.
Thug Nasty. Yeah, I mean, I don't like to start anybody either.
What's that?
I don't like starting how jiu-jitsu, a lot of them start on their butt. The problem is, too, I don't know how many people are going to get in fights at Walmart. And Walmart can be
like an actual street.
Walmart can be a little dicey. Mm-hmm. But also, I'll tell you right now, if it's an average Joe versus those guys that do those leg locks, trust me, that guy's not stomping anybody in the head. They're going to rip his fucking Achilles heel off. Yeah, it's going to be a nightmare.
I think you talked about this outside, but so Tito Ortiz is saying that him and Chael Sonnen have a fight?
Yep.
2023?
Yep, February 2023. I'll have more news for that for you guys. I'm sure Frank will allude to it when we do the fight companion.
Sweet.
Break some news for you guys. I know the rest of the lineup as well.
And let's just end on this then. Just a Mackenzie Dern appreciation thing. That's her?
Do you see what I see? Good things coming soon.
That's after her fight?
Yeah.
And she also looks very pretty here.
She's so pretty.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a good way to end it, Chin.
Cool.
She's ended it with on a positive note, a dime piece. Well, kids, a lot going on this weekend. I will be in Salt Lake City, Utah this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Salt Lake City, then Saturday, live on Thick Boy at 12 Mountain Time. That'd be 11 a.m. Pacific Time, live on Thick Boy YouTube. We have a Salt Lake City fight companion for you guys with myself and Frank Mayer, some special guests. As far as tour dates, Salt Lake City this Thursday through Saturday at Wise Guys, one of my favorite clubs. Next week, Thursday, Calgary, almost sold out. Calgary Rooftop. We added a second show on Friday at the Rooftop. That's Thursday, Friday next week in Calgary, Canada. The Thick Boys will be up in Canada doing the damn thing. And then that Saturday, we have another Calabasas, an actual Calabasas fight campaign from my home turf, home studio for the Jake Paul, Anderson Silva fight. So make sure you tune into that. And then November gets pretty Texas heavy. You got San Antonio at the LOL, one of my favorite clubs in San Antonio, November 3rd through the 5th. Houston, Texas. Houston Improv's November 10th through the 12th. Houston Improv. Milwaukee, November 18th through the 19th. That's just Friday, Saturday, Milwaukee, because I can't leave Thursday. So Milwaukee, November 18th, 19th. Houston, San Antonio, November. Salt Lake City this week. Calgary, Canada next week, Thursday, Friday. Get your tickets at thickboy.com. That's it, kids. I will see you guys Saturday live on the Thick Boy YouTube for the Salt Lake City Fight Companion with Frank Mayer for UFC 280. Enjoy the fights this weekend. I will see you Monday. Be nice to each other. Stay safe. Love you guys. See ya.
Oh, beautifully done. We've got a new bantamweight champion. We have entered the era of John Lineker, taking out everybody one by one. Now the challenges will come, but you better believe that man's going to be ready for them. Oh, body kick! Lineker! You are there!
Petr Yan is a problem in the bantamweight division.
I am the unproud king, and everybody knows it.
John Lineker touches you, he hurts you.
I'm coming for you, John Chica Lineker. Don't hide.
Fabrício, você é o próximo.
If you're into Thick Boys, like, subscribe, comment, and God bless America. Well, that's not my big one. Just kidding.